Well, welcome to the 2020 Ultimate Virtual Trivia Challenge. I, like the rest of you, I'm stuck at home and thought this would be a good chance to do some trivia. Use our brains a little bit more and look at the interesting year that has just passed. So I've got 100 questions for you, and let's see what we can find out together. The rules: we don't want any cheating. So I can't tell whether you're looking up online, but the whole point of a trivia contest is to see what's inside of your brain. So you're the loser if you go online and look all the answers up. But feel free to look up after we're done and learn a few things. Rule number 2, have fun. Invite friends to play with you. You can pause this, rewind it, whatever works for you. So let's start with our first category, the census. Every 10 years, the census is performed. This year, they did do one. They're still trying to finalize it, but it tells America a lot of information about who we are, where we are, and what we're doing. So here are 10 questions about the census. Question 1. In July 2020, the U.S. Census Bureau estimated the U.S. population at 275 million, 300 million, 330 million, or 351 million. These are estimates. These are not the actual counts from the actual census. The census produces estimates every year almost, based on other data that they collect. Question 2. In 2010 to 2019, which state lost the most people as a proportion of their population? Was it West Virginia, New York, Vermont, or Illinois? Which of these states lost people in 10 years and lost the most people as a percent of their population? Question 3. Which state gained the most people in 2010 to 2019 as a proportion of their population? Which of these 4 states gained the most percentage? Not the most people, but the most percentage. Was it Texas, Florida, Utah, or California? Next question. National Census Day is January 1st, April 1st, April 15th, or July 4th. National Census Day is the actual day when the count is supposed to theoretically have taken place. So they pick one day at random, and that is the day that the census is supposed to be, whereas they do count all year long practically, but there is one day that in particular that is National Census Day. Next question. Which of the following are not included in the census? Is it illegal aliens, homeless people, American citizens that are living abroad, or residents of the American territories, such as Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, or other territories? Which of these are not included in the every 10-year census? Next, the first census was in 1790. The most populous state for that year was New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, or California. Which state had the most people in 1790? Which state has the highest percentage of residents over the age of 65? According to the census latest figures. Is it Maine, Florida, West Virginia, or Utah? According to the U.S. Census, the U.S. divorce rate in the last 20 years has 1. Stayed about the same, 2. Dropped, 3. Risen slightly, 4, risen more than 25%. Which of those is correct? The census keeps records on marriages and divorces for as long as they've been able to do it. And finally, what is the median U.S. household income as of 2019, rounded to the nearest thousands? As a reminder, a median is a statistical number where if you have a line of 100 human beings, it would be whatever the 50th human being, whatever their income was. It wouldn't be the average. It's a different number. This is the median. What is the median U.S. household income in 2019? What percentage of Americans responded to the 2020 census, according to the census? Was it 99%, 75%, 60%, or 35%? They send out mail every year to try and get people to respond, and that makes their job a lot easier. What percent of the Americans actually did respond in this year with the pandemic? Okay, that's the 10 questions. Pause if you want to and go back. Here come the answers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In July 2020, they estimated the population at 330 million people. 330, which is quite a bit higher than the last one. The state with the most lost was West Virginia. West Virginia. They have a lot of health problems, and they have a dying coal industry. In reality, Puerto Rico lost more population than any of those 4 states due to the various hurricanes that they've had in the last 10 years. So they are way down in population. Which state gained the most population? That would be Utah. They also have one of the youngest states in the country. Lots of Mormons with big families. Utah gained the most population as percent. Texas and Florida probably gained the most as the number of people, and California actually stayed about the same. National Census Day is April 1st, April Fool's Day. That is the day when they try and verify where people are living. Okay, which of the following are not included in the census? That would be American citizens living abroad. The census is the complete tallying of everybody that's currently living in the United States. That includes anybody, but not people that are not living in the United States. So that was kind of a tricky one. Next, first census 1790. The most populous state that year was Virginia. Virginia by a large margin. They had 747,000 people. Number 2 was Pennsylvania, which was almost 300,000 less. And California was not even a state then. Highest percentage of residents over age 65. We're going to call this one a tie. Florida is most commonly thought of as the oldest state. Maine, though, has been in the top ranks many times, and it's just hard to tell which one is number 1 right now. So if you had either Maine or Florida, give yourself credit. Alabama and West Virginia, just not quite there. According to the census, the U.S. divorce rate in the last 20 years has dropped quite a bit. On that front, the marriage rate has also dropped. So there are fewer marriages and fewer divorces in the last 20 years. The median U.S. household income, $69,000. That's a household income. That's 1 parent and 2 kids, or 2 parents, or whoever lives in the household. That's the median. The mean is an average of all the incomes divided by the number of people, and that is actually 88,000. tells you that the U.S. is very top-heavy in income distribution. The richest 10% have most of the income, and that makes the average much higher than the median. What percent of Americans respond to the census? Only 60%, which means 40% have to be tracked down other ways, which is darned hard during a pandemic. We did not do very many house-to-house surveys this year, and it's a good chance that this year's census will be way undercounted. Next category, entertainment and sports for 2020. See if you were paying attention. If you're ready, here we go. Who won the Best Actress Oscar for 2020? Was it Saoirse Ronan, Cynthia Erivo, Renee Zellweger, Charlize Theron, or Scarlett Johansson? These are the 5 nominees. Who actually won? What show won Outstanding Drama Series in 2020 at the Emmy Awards? These are the 8 nominees. Better Call Saul, Killing Eve, Ozark, Stranger Things, Succession, The Crown, The Mandalorian, and The Handmaid's Tale. All 8 of these were nominated. Who was the winner? Okay, this should be easy for most of you. Who won the 2020 NFL Super Bowl? Was it the Kansas City Chiefs, the San Francisco 49ers, the New England Patriots, or the Green Bay Packers? Who actually won the 2020 NFL Super Bowl? Who won the 2020 World Series? They did finally have a baseball season. It was a shortened one, but they did actually have a World Series. Who won it? Was it the Houston Astros, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Francisco Giants, or the St. Louis Cardinals? Who won the 2020 World Series? Who won Best Song at the 2020 Grammy Awards? Was it Lady Gaga, Billie Eilish, Tanya Tucker, H.E.R., or Taylor Swift? Those are the 5 nominees that were this year's Best Song at the 2020 Grammys. Who actually won? Who won the 2020 Tony Award for Best Musical? Was it Jagged Little Pill, Moulin Rouge, Tina, a Tina Turner musical, Nobody, because the award show was postponed to 2021, or was it Hamilton? Who won the 2020 Tony Award? Which of the following celebrities did not, I repeat, did not die in 2020? Was it Sean Connery, Little Richard, Kobe Bryant, Jerry Stiller, Doris Day, Kirk Douglas, or Fred Willard? We lost a lot of really good people this year. Who is the one that did not die in 2020? According to Amazon, which is their #1 selling book for 2020? Mary Trump's book, Too Much and Never Enough, The Rumor It Happened by John Bolton, Where the Crawdad Sings by Delia Owens, A Promised Land by Barack Obama, Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. Who are the biggest seller of books for 2020, according to Amazon? And who had the most Twitter followers as of November 2020? Was it Katy Perry, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Lady Gaga, or Justin Bieber? According to Twitter, who had the most followers as of November 2020? Which of the following new streaming platforms is not currently producing original content? Which of the following new streaming platforms is not currently producing original content? Is it Apple Plus, Peacock, Quibi, HBO Max, or Disney Plus? All of those debuted in and around 2020 to give us more things to watch, but which one is not doing their own content right now? That's 10. Now we'll get ready for the answers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who won the Best Actress Oscar for 2020? That would be Renee Zellweger for her portrayal of Judy Garland in the movie Judy. She won Best Actress. Who won the Best Drama Series? That was Succession. Succession won a bunch of Emmys. Who won the Super Bowl? That would be the Kansas City Chiefs. In a thrilling game, 35-31 over the San Francisco 49ers. The Kansas City Chiefs. Go Chiefs! Who won the 2020 World Series? That would be the Dodgers, the Los Angeles Dodgers. They had not won in a long time, but they did get to win the World Series against Tampa Bay Rays. The Cardinals, unfortunately, did not make it past the first round of the playoffs. Who won Best Song at the Grammys? That would be Billie Eilish for Bad Guy. She won, as you can see, a bucket load of Grammys last year. So good luck to her. Who won the Tony Award for Best Musical? Nobody. The award show was postponed because Broadway is closed. So all of those three will get renominated next year. Hamilton already won, so they don't need one. Which of the following celebrities did not die in 2020? Doris Day. She passed away in 2019. All the other 6 did pass away in 2020. We lost a lot of really good people this year. According to Amazon, which is their #1 selling book, that would be Barack Obama's A Promised Land, which is amazing considering it came out in November after the election. So that's only 2 months worth of sales, whereas the other books all came out way before. So that just shows how popular this man is. Which goes to the next question. Who had the most Twitter followers? Again, Barack Obama. And it's not even close. He has almost 600 million followers. The next person in line would be Justin Bieber with almost half as much. And obviously a lot of those followers are all over the world, not just the United States. Which of the following new streaming platforms is not producing content? That would be Quibi. Quibi started this year and it shut down within 6 months. They tried to do briefer videos with big stars and it just did not work out. The other 4 are very much in business and all producing interesting new content. Okay, that's the end of entertainment. We'll now move into Christmas movies. Since it's still the Christmas season, I'm going to give you just a photograph and a year, and that's all the information I'm going to give you, and then you got to guess me the actual name of the Christmas movie. A lot of these should be pretty easy if you've been paying attention. So here we go. This movie came out in 1947. What is it? This movie came out in 1983. A very popular Christmas classic. What is its name? This movie came out in 1996. What is its name? This is a lesser-known movie, came out in 1998. A little bizarre, but very Christmassy. What was its name? This movie came out in 2003. Very popular movie. Hopefully you got it from this slide alone. of this very popular Christmas movie. 2005 brought this very unusual tale set in World War I. That's the only clue I'll give you. What was the name of this movie from 2005? 1988 gave us this movie with obviously Bill Murray as the star. What's the name of this movie? '89 gave us this movie, another Christmas classic comedy. What was the name of this Christmas movie? 2019 gave us several good movies. This is a new one. Was actually nominated for an Academy Award. What's the name of this Christmas animated movie? And finally, also in 2019, this movie came out. A little different kind of a plot, but it was I thought, a very good movie. Hopefully a lot of you got to see it in theaters. What's the name of this movie? Okay. Maybe you got some ideas for things to watch for next year. Here are the 10 movie answers. Miracle on 34th Street. Edmund Gwen and Natalie, I forget her name. Anyway, he thought he was the real Santa, and they proved that he was. A Christmas Story. Classic. Jingle All the Way. Arnold Schwarzenegger trying to get a Turbo Man toy for his little boy, and causing all kinds of comedy hijinks. Jack Frost, a bizarre tale of a father who dies and reincarnates as a snowman. So you never know what Hollywood will come up with. Love Actually. A fun tale of lots of different subplots of romantic endeavors, and lots of good music in this one. Joyeux Noel. This is a true story about the Christmas Eve truce, 1917, I believe it was, during World War I, where they started singing Christmas carols in the trenches, put down their guns, and came out and celebrated Christmas together. A really good movie if you've never seen it. Scrooged. One of my favorite portrayals of Charles Dickens' Christmas tale. Bill Murray, jokes, and very well done. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Chevy Chase, and more comedy. Funny movie. 2019, Klaus. This was an interesting origin story for Santa Claus. The gentleman on the right is a postmaster who gets sent to this remote island and has to figure out how to get people to send mail, and he bumps into the guy on the left who makes toys and lost his wife, and it's a very, very touching story. And we finish with Last Christmas, which just came out last year. That's Emilia Clarke, otherwise known as the Mother of Dragons on Game of Thrones, and she does a really good job in this movie, and was really a very touching song at the end. The song is by Wham, but they do it better. So, next category. The Time 100, the most influential people. Every year, Time magazine designates 100 people that they think are the most influential. So, here is testimonials about those 10 people, 10 of the 100 that I found were the most recognizable, and we'll see if you can get them. Okay, this was written by Ayanna Presley. I've been honored to work side along blank in Congress and to bear witness to her passion, tenacity, and dedication. In a moment when our communities are facing overlapping crises of public health, economic inequality, and systemic racism, we stood shoulder to shoulder to legislate together against discrimination in the response to the COVID-19 and support our local Black businesses. Blank every day embodies the beliefs and expectations of little girls and young women who see themselves in her. We speak of elders and we say, we are because of them. Years from now, a generation of young people will look at her and say, we are because of her. From Oprah Winfrey. There's no one else like him in the entertainment business and in life. He's a true visionary, a trailblazer. In 2005, I first saw him play. I knew then he was special. I watched the audience laugh, cry, and delight in seeing themselves reflected in the story on stage. Since then, he has directed and or produced 22 feature films and produced more than 1,000 episodes of TV, maintaining a sincere connection to the audience he serves. Last fall, he made history, opening the largest privately owned motion picture studio in the United States, set on 330 acres. The former Confederate Army base is now a state-of-the-art production facility with 12 sound stages, each named after an iconic African-American figure. On September 20th, he made history again when he received the prestigious Governor's Award at the Emmys. From Jimmy Kimmel. As the COVID-19 pandemic began, there was one person millions of Americans immediately knew we could turn to for guidance. As director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, he has advised 6 presidents over 36 years. When COVID-19 reared its ugly head, he was among the first to step forward with facts and only facts. He doesn't sugarcoat his words and refuses to be pressured by politicians. He delivered the truth, as difficult as it may be to hear, earnestly and with one goal, to save lives. His courage and candor have earned our trust. We are all fortunate to have a man of his wisdom, experience, and integrity to help us navigate these difficult waters. From Elton John. This year I met Abel Tesfaye, who performs as blank at an Oscars party. He said I would be excited when I heard his new album After Hours, but didn't tell me why. That seemed to sum him up. He's a mysterious figure in an era when mystery is rare in pop, and you never know what to expect next. He plays with the persona in his music and presentation. On the After Hours cover, he's dripping in blood. You're never sure if he's singing about himself or if he's in character. He's got an incredible imagination. America Ferrara. She is unabashedly spreading her wings and influence into whatever lane her passions lead her. She is enormous, always been a great musician, but she's also always been more than her music. She uses her enormous social media platform to encourage voting and to support Black Lives Matter. Perhaps most importantly, in a time when immigrants fear for their safety and ICE raids pepper the news, why? She's been an outspoken advocate for immigrant rights in America. Last year, she executive produced the Netflix documentary Living Undocumented and told the story of her own family's emotional journey from Mexico to the United States. She courageously used her global platform in service of her full identity. She is emblematic of her powerful generation, which patently rejects the notion that they belong in any one lane as artists, activists, or citizens of the world. From Taylor Swift. Sometimes all the puzzle pieces fall into place at the perfect time. A combination of razor-sharp instincts, killer wit, and genuine care for the people she works with proved to be a winning hand. She is the executive producer and was the showrunner of the thrilling hit show Killing Eve. Her one-woman play, Philbin, was adopted into a show that turned into everyone's favorite self-sabotaging maker of mischief. She has a habit of creating complex female anti-heroes in a way that seemed previously unreserved for male characters, and she co-wrote the screenplay for the new Bond film. It's It's magical to see that all the rehearsals, baby steps, false starts, and dead ends can lead to an extremely driven and unfathomably talented woman, unwinding in a lounge chair, surrounded by her winnings. She and all that she has achieved is indeed a big mood. Amanda Bennett. He stands today as China's seemingly invulnerable top leader. His anti-corruption campaign struck at kleptocrats, some in his own family, while he conveniently purging rivals. His authoritarian moves rival the world's most extreme, corralling ethnic Uyghurs into camps, suppressing violent anti-China protests in Hong Kong, and ushering in powerful social monitoring technology. Completing the look is the Mao Zedong-like cult of personality he allows or encourages, including his own little red book. The result, a foreign policy and economic juggernaut expanding around the world. From Stevie Wonder. The sound he brings through his cello teaches us to feel, listen, care, and act. His music takes us to a safe place and then inspires us to do the good and right that he knows it is in the heart of humankind. This year, recognizing our need for this during the COVID pandemic, more than ever before, he began posting video performances to social media with the hashtag Songs of Comfort, encouraging others to join him. Soon the hashtag was populated with performances by James Taylor, Carole King, the Indian Girls, and many more artists. He brought them together to bring us together. Every time he shares his music, it is a masterclass in love. By Carl Vick. The key to democracy is not, in fact, free elections. The only tell who got the most votes. More important is the right of those who did not vote for the winner. India has been the world's largest democracy for more than 7 decades. Its population of 1.3 billion includes Christians, Muslims, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, and other religions. All have a Biden in India, which the Dalai Lama has lauded as an example of harmony and stability. He has brought all that into doubt, though almost all of India's prime ministers have come from the nearly 80% of the population that is Hindu. Only he has governed as if no one else matters. First elected on a populist promise of empowerment, his Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party rejected not only elitism but also pluralism, specifically targeting India's Muslims. The crucible of the pandemic became a pretext for stifling dissent, and the world's most vibrant democracy fell deeper into shadow. We were first introduced to his music through Closer and Without Me, her latest project, Manic, in which one of us, Suga, had the honor of taking part, is among the most genuine pieces of work we've ever encountered. Knowing her music, the decision to collaborate with her on our single, Boy with Love, was one of the easiest calls we've ever had to make. It just had to be her. Working with her was everything we could have wished for and more. She's not only a strikingly talented artist, but also a dedicated partner who sincerely devotes everything to the art we created together. She inspires us, and we're incredibly honored to be able to call her our cherished friend. We can't wait to see what she has next for the world down the road. Okay, that was long and windy, I know. Here are the answers, briefly. You ready? The first one I read a boo-boo, and I left her name in there, so you should have gotten this one. It was Kamala Harris, our new vice president. The second one, Tyler Perry. The third one, Anthony Fauci. The fourth one, The Weeknd, also known as Abel Tesfaye. Next one, Selena Gomez. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which Fleabag should have been a dead giveaway. But, a lot of people like her. Xi Jinping, President of China. We would have accepted just the first 2 letters, Z, President Z, but that's his name, Xi Jinping, and he is definitely the man in charge. Yo-Yo Ma is the cellist. Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister of India. And we would have accepted Modi, M-O-D-I, is what a lot of people know him by. But learned a lot about him this year. Halsey is the musician. And that was it. Now we go into our next category, which is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire questions. And we have a tribute to Regis Philbin.
Here we are, like Regis Philbin. What? Who wants to be a millionaire?
Hi, gang. I know. Give her $100 to get her out of here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Monday night at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Probably the most significant thing that happened when I hosted the first season is Regis came to the set the first day. The king has returned. The return of the king.
How are you?
How are you? Gosh, you look fantastic.
So do you.
Shall we take a look at the set?
Let's do it.
Okay. It was great to see him, and it was exciting to just have him there because this is, you know, I'm hosting the show, but this is his show. You built this house. This is.
Yeah, I'm looking around, and I've seen a lot of people and a lot of things that I hear now.
It's like being inside a slot machine.
I love doing the show.
No one will ever be better at doing this than you. No one, never. And I'm not just being false, humble by saying that. It's true. You're the best. Ultimately, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It's like he left me a beautiful car. And that's why people love this show. I mean, it's a great game, but Regis is the reason. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, buddy. Go ahead.
Well, here are some questions from actual Who Wants to Be a Millionaire shows and our tribute to Regis. See if you can get them. The Lilith Fair musical tour was named for what character from ancient texts? Was it A, Lot's wife, Adam's first wife, Helen of Troy, or the muse of lyrical poetry? Lilith Fair. Next. Which of these comic strip characters is completely bald? Is it Daddy Warbucks, Mr. Wilson, Leroy Lockhorn, or Schroeder? Commonly seen in aluminum magazines, what French word is often used to indicate a married woman's maiden name? Is it Roy, Gaz, Nay, or Hugh? Commonly seen in college aluminum magazines, what French word is often used to indicate a married woman's maiden name? The Natchitoches meat pie is the official meat pie of which of these U.S. states? Is it Idaho, New Jersey, Louisiana, or California? And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Is inscribed in the lobby of what agency's headquarters? Is it the FBI, the CIA, Department of Education, or the Library of Congress? And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Which of the following is not a monotheistic religion? Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, or Christianity? Which of them is not a monotheistic religion? Approximately what percentage of the Earth's surface is covered by water? 25%, 40%, 70%, or 90%? If you want to take a vacation to the geographic center of North America, You should pack up your car and drive to what U.S. state? It would be North Dakota, Texas, Colorado, or Wyoming. Which of those four is the geographic center of North America? A person born on February 29th who lives the average U.S. lifespan of roughly 78 years would observe their actual birthday how many times? 10, 12, 19, or 25? How many birthdays would you have if you lived the average lifespan? Auctioned for over $3 million in 2014, the most valuable comic book ever sold features Superman on its cover doing what? Saluting the American flag, lifting a car over his head, breaking free from chains, or sitting on the moon? Answers. Lilith Fair was indeed named after Adam's first wife, Lilith. Comic strip character that is completely bald. This was pretty easy if you ever read the comic strip Little Orphan Annie. It's Daddy Warbucks. C. Nay. N-E-E is a married woman's maiden name. Natchitoches meat pie is the official meat pie of Louisiana. This one was for $500,000. So give yourself credit if you got this right. The quote is from the CIA headquarters. The CIA headquarters. John Carpenter is the one who won the $1 million. This was one of the questions he won with. The correct answer was pretty easy if you know anything about religions, was C, Hinduism. Earth's surface is covered by 70% water, approximately. North Dakota is the geographic center of North America. That includes Mexico and Canada. If you're talking about just the United States, it would be quite a bit south of there. But center of North America is in North Dakota. Person born on February 29th would have 19 birthdays. 78 divided by 4. And the famous comic book cover has him lifting a car over his head. This is the guy that just won the $1 million on the Jimmy Kimmel version. Halftime. We're going to play you something that's a little crispy, a little New Year's, just to clean your palate. We're halfway through the quiz. Go to the bathroom if you want. If you don't, enjoy this little scene from It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeehaw and Merry Christmas, Sam Wainwright.
Good idea, Ernie, and post. To my big brother George, the richest man in town. Christmas present from a very dear friend of mine.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. That's right. I don't like that.
That song gets me every time. Let's start our second half. Now we cover election 2020, the one that just ended. Try and do it respectfully without too much bad feelings, but here are some interesting things from the election that just happened. Which state voted for Donald Trump by the largest percentage margin of all the states? Which one gave him his biggest victory? Was it Kansas, North Dakota, Wyoming, or Texas? Which state voted for Joseph Biden, the Democrat, by the largest percentage margin? That's not counting District of Columbia. Was it New York, California, Vermont, or Delaware? Oh, wait a minute. Okay, which of the following did not run for president in 2020? Was it former Massachusetts Governor William Weld, New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, self-help author Marianne Williamson, Texas Congressman Joaquin Castro, or Montana Governor Steve Bullock? A lot of people ran for president this year. Most of them dropped out pretty early. Which one of these did not run at all in 2020? Which of the following parties were not on the 2020 ballot for U.S. president? Was it the Constitution Party, the Birthday Party, the Communist Party, the Green Party, or the Libertarian Party? Which of these parties were not on any ballot in any state for president? The U.S. election cost the 2016 election cost $6.5 billion. How much did the 2020 election cost? $13.8 billion, $9.6 billion, $5.7 billion, or $25.5 billion. How much money did we spend on that election? Approximately how many votes did Kanye West get for president in 2020? Was it 20,000, 68,000, 177,000, or 884,000 votes? He came in the top 10, but how many votes did he actually end up getting? Which of the following was not a ballot initiative that won? These were all, which of these is not a 2020 ballot initiative that won? Or an Oregon initiative legalizing the use of magic mushrooms and other psychedelics? A Florida vote to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour? A California initiative to require ride-sharing companies to treat their workers as employees? A Puerto Rico vote to become a state? And a Missouri amendment that allows the state to not count children as people when assigning voting districts. Regardless of what happens in Georgia in 2021, which of these is true? In 2020, Republicans gained seats in both the House and Senate. Democrats gained seats in both the House and Senate. Republicans gained seats in the House, but Democrats gained in the Senate. Democrats gained seats in the House, and Republicans gained seats in the Senate. Which of those four things happened after this election? In October 2020, New Zealand had a national election. Who won? Was it Labour candidate and current Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, Frodo Baggins from the Hobbit Party, Judith Collins, the National Party, or Justin Trudeau, the Liberal Party? Who contributed the most money to candidates in 2020? What single rich billionaire contributed the most money to political candidates in 2020? Was it Michael Bloomberg, Bill Gates, Sheldon Adelson, or Montgomery Burns? Who contributed the most money? Alright, and if you're ready, here are your answers. Wyoming was the most Trumpy state. He won it by 70% to 26%. No other state gave him 70%, although a lot came close. So Wyoming is his best state. Surprisingly, Vermont was Joe Biden's best state, home to Bernie Sanders. He won that state by 36 points. Who of the following did not run for president in 2020? That would be Texas Congressman Joaquin Castro. He has a twin brother, Julian, who did run. All the other four ran and dropped out fairly quickly. Which of the following parties were not on the ballot? The Communist Party. The Communist Party has not had a candidate for quite a while. The Birthday Party is Kanye West's new party. Go figure. 2020 election cost approximately $14 billion, more than double the last one. So much money, they actually were not able to spend it all. But you saw it with all the commercials that barrage you left and right. Came out to about $90 per vote. So I would have rather taken the $90. Kanye West ended up getting about 68,000 votes, most of them from the state of Tennessee for some reason. But he was on several ballots, but not very many. The only initiative ballot that didn't win was number 3, the California initiative to require ride-sharing companies to treat workers as employees. This actually was one of the biggest and had the most spending of any initiatives for the whole year. And actually the opposite is what happened. California voters voted to let the ride-sharing companies treat their workers as independent contractors, not employees. So they get away with putting them on the hook for all the other stuff. All the other things actually did happen. Number 3, Republicans did gain seats in the House, and the Democrats gained, as of right now, 1 seat in the Senate, and possibly 3, but they gained definitely. New Zealand had a national election that very few people heard about, and Jacinda Ardern who has become an international celebrity for her handling of the COVID epidemic. She won in a landslide. Justin Trudeau, by the way, is a Canadian Prime Minister, so he wouldn't have been eligible in New Zealand. Most money came from Sheldon Adelson. He is big money guy for the Republican Party, donates all over the place, $183 million, more than Michael Bloomberg, who was in second place. Bill Gates donates a lot to charity, but nothing to politicians. And Montgomery Burns only donates in Simpson World. Okay, next category. Infectious diseases. COVID-19 is the one we all know about. Here's some other data about other infectious diseases that you might want to learn about. CDC recommends vaccination for HPV for children entering puberty. Why? Is it to prevent cancer, to guard against sexually transmitted diseases, to make more money for Big Pharma, to control our brains, or 1, 2, and 3 above? Why is HPV vaccine recommended for children right before puberty? Who invented the polio vaccine? Polio vaccine is probably the most successful vaccine of the 20th century. I couldn't think of 3 other famous vaccine doctors, so I'm not going to give you any choices. You just have to come up with it. He's pretty well known. If you know who this was. What is the most common infectious disease in the world right now? Is it, besides COVID-19, obviously, seasonal flu, measles, hepatitis B, cholera, or HIV/AIDS? Before the COVID epidemic came on the scene, which one of these was the most common non-lethal infectious diseases? What percent of our Native Americans are believed to have been killed off by diseases that were brought from white settlers? Was it 40%, 50%, 75%, or 90%? How many Native Americans are believed to have been killed off by diseases from white settlers? The animals most suspected of carrying coronaviruses are mosquitoes, bats, rats, or humans. Which one of those is the most notorious carrier of all coronaviruses? The first vaccine was discovered in 1796 by Edward Jenner to treat which disease? Was it typhus, smallpox, measles, or rabies? The very first vaccine, almost over 300 years ago. No, over 200 years ago. Shingles is a disease caused by a dormant virus that reawakens. It was originally caused to host which disease when they first got it, before it went to sleep? Was it measles, mumps, chickenpox, or seasonal flu? The shingles. You catch it, it goes dormant, and then it wakes up again when you turn into your 60s. Which of these diseases causes the shingles? Which company got approval for COVID-19 vaccine first? All these are developing vaccines. Which one got the first approval? AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna. Which countries reported no cases of COVID-19 in all of 2020? Was it New Zealand, Antarctica, Samoa, Iceland, or Narnia? Which country reported no cases of COVID-19 in all of 2020? Which infectious disease has caused the most deaths worldwide in history? Was it the bubonic plague, also known as the Black Death, smallpox, the Spanish flu, or cholera? Which disease has caused the most deaths of all time? Ready? Here come the answers. CDC recommends vaccination 1, 2, and 3 to prevent cancer and to guard against sexually transmitted diseases. That's what they say on their website anyway. Apparently the human papillomavirus can mutate and cause cancer later on in life. And a wide variety of people carry that virus, over 50%. So that's why they're trying to stamp it out. Who invented the polio vaccine? That would be Jonas Salk, famous scientist who gave us the vaccine and did not ask for the patent. Gave it to the world. Saved millions of people from very, very painful disease. The most common infectious disease in the world is hepatitis B, which surprised me. Apparently it's very common in Africa and Asia, not as common in the United States, but hepatitis B is the most common of all the infectious diseases. Percent of Native Americans estimated it to be 90%. So just think about that for a while. If all those 90% of Native Americans had not died, how different might history have played out? Because when the first white settlers came here, they were way outnumbered. And infectious diseases they brought over with them spread like wildfire. The animals most suspected of carrying coronaviruses are bats. Bats are a unique creature that apparently can harbor all kinds of interesting diseases. And that's why they think that COVID-19 may have come from wet markets in China, where they eat raw meat, and bats are very common in a lot of places where these diseases pop up. The first vaccine was created by Edward Jenner to treat smallpox. He found a version of smallpox that was much less lethal. He injected people with that, and they didn't die. And that's how they discovered vaccines in general. So, thank goodness for him. Shingles is caused by chickenpox. If you ever had chickenpox, that disease does not go away. It stays dormant until you reach your age of 60, and then it can reappear as shingles, which is a very painful skin disease that they recommend you can get a vaccine against shingles. This was pretty easy if you've been following the news at all. The first company that had approval was Pfizer, followed shortly by Moderna. The other two are still working on theirs, and hopefully by the end of 2021, we'll have no problem getting vaccines to anybody. Which countries reported no cases? The only one I could verify for sure was Samoa. There are a number of Pacific islands that have been very strict about immigration, and they are claiming that they've had no cases. Antarctica actually has had cases in some research stations, and New Zealand has wiped out COVID, but they did have some at the beginning. So, and if you bought Narnia, you need to check your maps a little closer. The one that caused the most deaths was smallpox. Smallpox, they've estimated anywhere from 300 to 500 million people killed during various outbreaks over the last 200, 300 years. Obviously, the records aren't great, but this is what they estimate. It was declared eradicated around the world in 1979. Well, supposedly there are some samples frozen away in some lab somewhere, but smallpox the most deadly the infectious disease in history. Now we go to the economy. See how well you know what the economy did in 2020 and what it's doing now. Here are the questions. As of mid-December, the S&P 500 index range of stock prices, which is the average that most reflects how the stock market's doing. Is it down 5% for the year after the pandemic and the recession? Is it about even for the year? Up 5% for the year or up 15% for the year? Which of those is true? Which is worth more as of December 2020? 10% of a Bitcoin, 50% of an ounce of gold, 100 barrels of oil, or 500 euros? Which is worth the most money as of December 2020? The real unemployment rate, U6, that includes discouraged and underemployed workers, shot to a high of what in 2020 at the height of the pandemic? The real unemployment rate, was it 11%, 14.7%, 22.8%, or 33.2%? During the Great Recession, the U.S. budget deficit hit a record $1.4 trillion. What was the right deficit for the fiscal year that just ended in October 2020? Was it 1.9 trillion, 2.5 trillion, 3.1 trillion, or 1.2 Google? Who is the current chair of the U.S. Federal Reserve? The Federal Reserve sets policy for our banking system, and they are independent of Congress and the President. Who is the current chair of the U.S. Federal Reserve? Is it Jerome Powell, Ben Bernanke, Janet Yellen, or Steve Mnuchin? As of mid-December, which company was worth more according to market capital? Market capital is basically the price of each share multiplied by the number of outstanding shares. So which company, in theory, is worth the most? Was it Amazon, Apple, Alphabet, also known as Google, Microsoft, or Walmart? Which company worth the most? Average healthcare spending of industrialized countries is about $5,500 per person. That's the average in the world, in the industrialized countries. How much do the United States spend per person on healthcare? Is it $5,600, $7,700, $11,500, or $24,400 per person? That includes all healthcare spending everywhere, divided by how many people we have. What was the average student loan debt per borrower in 2020? Was it $9,500, $14,600, $24,300, or $38,800? Average student loan debt. The CARES Act granted how much money to each adult American last spring as an economic stimulus payment? Was it $500, $600, $1,200, or the amounts varied depending on your income levels? The CARES Act granted each how much and sent out last spring, April and May. Amazon reported $13.9 billion with a B in taxable United States income in 2019. How much tax did they end up paying? 1, they actually got a refund and paid no taxes. 2, 0, they didn't pay anything, they didn't get anything back. 3, they paid about $162 million, or 1%. 4, $1.5 billion, or 10%. Or 5, the full 21% corporate rate that all corporations are supposed to pay, or about $3 billion. And here are your answers. As of mid-December, the S&P 500 is up 15% for the year, which is very confusing and makes no sense given that we've had a recession and a pandemic. But there you have it. S&P 500 did go down in March, but it rebounded very nicely over the summer and is now at record highs. So something's going on. Which is worth more? Bitcoin prices have skyrocketed. Typical Bitcoin is going for over $20,000 right now. So 10% is worth more than any of the other items. Ounce of gold going for close to 2,000. This is half an ounce. And euros are not worth much. Neither is oil. So wish I'd have bought some Bitcoins back when they were cheap. The real unemployment rate was at 22.8%. This is the unemployment rate that does not get reported on the news. The one that got reported was 14.7%. That is called U3, the official unemployment rate. That's only the people that are actively looking. It does not include people that are discouraged or unemployed or underemployed, I should say. During the Great Recession, the budget deficit was $1.4 trillion. The latest one was more than double, $3.1 trillion. And you got to wonder how long that can keep up. We've only had one deficit that was over $1 trillion, and now we have one that's over $3 trillion. And to get back down, we need to take in a lot more money or spend a lot less. If you said 1.2 Google, that is a number bigger than any government in the world could possibly spend. But we may get there someday. Current chair of the Federal Reserve is Jerome Powell. Janet Yellen used to be the chair, as was Ben Bernanke, but Powell is the current one. The company that's worth the most is Apple. If you'd have bought Apple stock 20 years ago, you would be a wealthy person. They have gone way up in value. They are the most valuable company as of right now. Amazon and Microsoft have come close. Microsoft actually passed them once or twice, but Apple is currently the leader. You'll notice all the leaders are all tech companies. The closest company that's not a tech company is Walmart, and they are worth a lot less than Apple. Average healthcare spending in the United States is more than double all the rest of the countries in the world, $11,500. So if you didn't spend $11,500 last year on your healthcare, you're not pulling your weight. Somebody is spending more than you, and it doesn't appear that it's working to make us that much healthier. Average student loan debt, this one shocked me. It is $38,800, which, assuming the interest rate's currently at 5 to 6%, you're looking at 20 to 30 years to pay that sucker off, unless you get into a very high-paying field. So something will need to be done about student loan debt in the future if they want to have young people able to buy houses and have kids. CARES Act granted most people $1,200, but correct answer is number 4. Some people got nothing. Some people got $1,200. Children got $500, and some people got in between if their income was in between. But it definitely did vary by income level, as will any future economic stimulus payments. Amazon ended up paying 1%. They did actually pay, but because of the different tax laws that they took advantage of, they only paid 1% on their income. And there's a lot of corporations that pay 0 or get money back. But that's the system we have right now. Okay, next to last category is the 2020 Olympics, which did not happen. But we've got some interesting questions about the Olympics that will be happening in 2021. So here we go. Okay, question 1. What metal are the Olympic gold medals mostly made out of? Are they made mostly out of gold? Or are they made out of silver, bronze, or copper? What metal are they made out of? Question 2. The 1940 Olympics were canceled after being moved from which warring country? 1940 Olympics, World War II was beginning, and the country it was supposed to have been in was at war. Which country was it? Or which city was it, should I say? Berlin, Germany, Paris, France, Tokyo, Japan, or Rome, Italy? Which city would have hosted the 1940 Olympics? Which of the following below is not a new sport for the 2020 Olympics? Surfboarding, karate, golf, sport climbing, or skateboarding? Which of those is not a new sport for the 2020 Olympics? Which U.S. athlete has won the most medals at the Summer Olympics? Mark Spitz, Michael Phelps, Ryan Lochte, Carl Lewis, or Simone Biles? All of the following sports were once a part of the Olympics, but are no longer, except for which one? Pigeon shooting, hot air ballooning, sculpture, tug of war, or Greco-Roman wrestling. All of those sports were once a part of the Olympics, but are no longer, except one of these is a decoy. It was either never in the Olympics, or it still is. Which one? What do the 4th place finishers get at the Olympics? The 1st place finisher gets the gold medal, 2nd place gets the silver medal, 3rd place gets the bronze medal. What does the 4th place get? Is it 1, nothing, 2, an aluminum medal, 3, the Olympic diploma, 4, a small amount of cash, or 5, shame and humiliation from their countries? Which U.S. city will host the 2028 Summer Olympics? Is it Orlando, Florida, Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, Olympia, Washington, or Atlanta, Georgia? Which U.S. city has already agreed to host the 2028 Summer Olympics? Which country is banned from the 2020 Olympics for sports doping issues? Which country is banned? And that includes 2021 as well. Is it North Korea, Venezuela, Singapore, Russia, or Kazakhstan? Baseball has returned to the Olympics for the first time since 2008. What country has won 3 of the 5 gold medals awarded so far? Is it the United States, Dominican Republic, Japan, Cuba, or South Korea? Which country has dominated the Olympic baseball competition since it first began? Which of the following has never appeared in the Olympics? Who from this list? Is it Caitlyn Jenner, Gina Davis, Michael Jordan, Cassius Clay, aka Muhammad Ali, or Brett Hull? Who has never appeared in the Olympics? And here are your answers. Gold medals are made mostly out of silver. They are plated with gold because gold is too damned expensive, and these are big medals. The 1940 Olympics were going to be in Tokyo, until Tokyo decided to start invading everybody. They were briefly moved to Helsinki, Finland, and then they said, screw it, we're not going to do it at all. And they canceled them. And they also canceled the 1944 Olympics as well. Look at the below is not a new sport for the 2020 Olympics. That would be golf. Golf is already in there. But the other four are all new sports that are starting with the 2020 Olympics. Which U.S. athlete has won the most medals? This one's pretty easy. That would be Michael Phelps. He has 23 gold, 3 silver, and 2 bronze, for an amazing total of 28 medals. No one else is even close to him. And he has the most medals in the world of any country, not just the U.S. All the following sports were once a part of the Olympics, but are no longer. Except for which one? That would be Greco-Roman wrestling, which is still in the Olympics. All the other ones, pigeon shooting, hot air ballooning, sculpture, and tug of war, all had Olympic competitions at one time, mostly back when they first started in 1896. But they've tried a lot of different sports through the many years. What do fourth place finishers get? This one surprised me. It's called the Olympic diploma. If you finish in 1st through 8th place, you get an Olympic diploma, which is not worth anything, but it's a nice little fancy piece of paper that showed what event you participated in, what place you came in, and you can frame it and put it on your wall. Hopefully you don't get shame and humiliation, and there's no guarantees of cash. What city will host the 2028 Olympics? That would be Los Angeles. We won out over a number of other cities. Chicago has tried multiple times and has never gotten it. Los Angeles, this will be the second or the third time that they've had the Olympics. So that should be exciting. Which company is banned? That would be Russia. Again, they are very naughty, using performance-enhancing drugs, and they have been banned from all sorts of international competitions, including the 2020 Olympics. Baseball is returning. Cuba has won 3 of the 5 gold medals and 2 of the silver medals. They have been in the championships all 5 times. They are by far the most dominant baseball sport in the Olympics, which was kind of surprising. Consider how few Major League Baseball players come from Cuba. What's the song has never appeared in the Olympics? That would be Gina Davis. She did train for the 2000 Olympics in archery. She came close to making the team, but she didn't make it. She gained her own notoriety. All the other ones were in the Olympics and won medals as well. And then our final category is a tribute to Alex Trebek and Jeopardy.
This term for a long-handled gardening tool can also mean an immoral pleasure seeker. Oh, no. Whoa! They teach you that in school in Utah, huh, Al? What's a rake? A rake is right.
I think it's really fun. It's called Nerdcore Hip Hop.
Nerdcore
Hip Hop, yeah. People who identify as nerdy, rapping about the things they love, video games, science fiction, having a hard time meeting romantic partners, you know. It's really catchy and fun.
Losers, in other words.
Well,
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Buy a chopper and have a doctor on speed dial, I guess. Mad City. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Young money militia, and I am the commissioner. You don't want to start wheezy, because the F is for finisher. Panda, 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 panda. They mad, they ain't famous. They mad, they still nameless. But we still hood famous. Yeah, we still hood famous. I was just getting into this rap thing. I'm not too good at it, but I was getting into it. If Andy yearns for Brenda, and Brenda cares about Charlene, who pines for Andy, The three of them form one of these. Kara.
What is a threesome?
No. Roger.
What is a love triangle?
Yes, that's it. Kara has obviously had much more experience than I. Roughly half the size of Texas, it's the largest structure made by living creatures and can even be seen from space. What did you write down? What are those? What is you doing? What is you doing, baby? Too loud right now. What is you doing, baby? Well, I'm responding incorrectly. And I'm going to lose $1,000.
Okay, so here are some Jeopardy questions from the actual show. See how you do. This Italian who gave us the law of falling bodies was put on trial in 1633 supporting the heliocentric model of the universe. Remember to form your answers in the form of a question. So the correct answer for this will be, who is blank? It's an outdoor structure used for a newsstand or red box rentals. This mountain range forms a natural barrier between France and Spain. In 1769, this 13-year-old composer, was appointed an honorary concertmeister at the Salzburg court. One term for talking trash about someone is throwing this, like a big elm tree might do. At the Alamo gift shop, you can purchase a replica of this man's coonskin cap. Most of this firm's 70,000 seasonal white-collar employees work only 4 months a year. The nickname for residents of North Carolina may derive from a Civil War regiment that stubbornly held their position as if glued down. A 20-kiloton atomic bomb was dropped on this atoll in a 1946 test, the first in peacetime. Lactation is the secretion of milk. Lacrimation is the secretion of bees. And here are your answers. Remember to put them in the form of a question. Who was Galileo? He was the one put on trial in 1633. What is a kiosk? A structure for red box rentals. What are the Pyrenees Mountains? Mountain range that forms a barrier between France and Spain. Who was Mozart? That one's pretty easy. From 1769. What is throwing shade? What a big elm tree might do. Who is Davy Crockett? With the coonskin cap. Who is H&R Block? That's the firm with 70,000 seasonal white-collar employees. What is Tar Heel? That's the nickname for a resident of North Carolina that stubbornly held down as if they were glued. Where is Bikini Atoll? That's where the atomic bomb test was hit. What are teardrops? That's what lacrimation secretes teardrops. And that's it. Add up your answers. You think you got all 100? You're more than amazing than I can imagine. But Happy New Year to you. Hopefully the next year is better. Come see out my website if you want some interesting reading. And thanks for playing.